Hello, and welcome to another episode of Tubi Decided, a Film Logic podcast. I am your host, Mike. We're here to talk about the best Tubi can offer, and this episode is no exception. I'm with Adam, Ivy, and Vin. Are you guys here?
Yo.
Hooray!
Huzzah!
Yes. Judging from your voices, you guys are more than ready to talk about cinematography.
Oh yeah, baby.
yeah.
But I have some good news. So, you know how on IMDb, like a gust of wind can change the rankings of a movie?
Sure.
Well, apparently there's been some changes. Who wants to guess the movie that we still have at the top at 7.6?
Is it Cash
Is
Storm?
No.
Is that Love on a Leash, or did that get dethroned?
It's Love on a Leash at 7.6. Who wants to guess where Cash Storm descended to?
6.7.
So close.
I know what you are, Adam.
All right.
5.7.
We wish, but not
What
quite.
was it at?
Well, it was somewhere in the 8s, and then it went to 7.8.
Ooh.
And now it's at 6.5, wedged between Time After Time, which has a 7, and Dante's Inferno, which is tied with 6.5.
Whoa.
Thus, making Love on a Leash still our highest movie. Today's movie is in second place, when we'll get to that, with a 7.5. And Crossroads is still third place with a 7.1.
Wow.
Hey. I know how to pick them.
You did. You do. Yeah, you own the
You
second
can't get
and the
better
third.
than Love on a Leash.
I mean,
Pure
second is just
cinema.
first loser.
So, that's a great segue. Vin, we picked your name out of a hat, and you picked a movie. Yeah, this is a movie that you give many F-zeros about.
I
All
see
right.
what you did there.
Don't get it twisted, metal. This movie is a grand turismo of fun.
You would say it's pretty Top Gear, huh?
It is. It's a red out. I don't even know where I was trying with that one, but now I'm just naming video games with racing.
Okay, can I
Hold
start
on a
talking
split
about
second.
it now?
All right. Tell us about the movie Redline 2009. I have to say 2009 because there's like 7 other Redlines on Tubi.
Is there really?
Yes. Well, I
Yeah,
feel like
Yeah.
I feel like I have to point it out while to somehow disambiguate it, but also make it more ambiguous. Redline was it was released in 2009 in the original Japanese, because this is an anime. The English language version, produced by Bang Zoom, was released in 2012. I do believe. Yes, 2012. Yeah.
And that's exactly what we got. Might I add, no option for closed captioning on mine. Was that the same case with yours?
I believe so.
Yeah,
yes.
I just got it dubbed.
Yeah, which is unfortunate.
Yep. So,
because
you know, I might.
Because the original Japanese voice cast is like incredible.
Well, yeah, I don't doubt it, but I don't want to read all of my anime. That's what manga's for.
True. Yep. And I don't know if this is the episode to get into the dubs versus subs debate.
I mean,
But this is our first anime. While we watched Guyver the live action and Dragon Ball The Magic Begins the live action, this one is an actual anime. And
Yeah.
this is going to be our first take together as weebs, trying to figure out where an anime fits in movie criticism. And so it'll be tons of spicy talk.
oh.
Well, I hope the rest of you are up to the task.
Oh, they are. I hear Adam sharpening a pitchfork. Ivy's lighting a torch.
No, more like he's dragging the stone across his katana.
Yes.
Waiting to pounce.
Hey, while you guys were all enjoying life, I was studying the blade.
So, movie's called Redline, 7.5, IMDb, second place. Way to go, Vid.
Hey.
And now let's get into the plot. Unless anyone has any fun facts we should know before we talk about the plot.
Well, there are plenty of fun facts, which I think we can get into later. But I think we should just dive right in.
Right. So a little different today. I'm going to try out gamifying our plot. So I'm going to give each of my wonderful co-hosts 1 minute to see how much of the story they can get in chronological order, because we're not here to confuse you more than we do. So Vin, we're going to start with you. I'm going to start the timer, and you have to start the story. And then Ivy, what he doesn't get, you'll have to get in your minute. And Adam, you'll be sweep up. And I have the Wikipedia synopsis with me right now. So I'm just going to fill in everything you guys don't get. Okay, are you ready, Vin?
I am.
All right, go.
All right. Redline is a pretty straightforward concept. It's a racing anime movie. It opens up on a qualifier race on some unknown planet somewhere out in the galaxy. It's in the future, as many anime are set. We are treated to a shot-for-shot sort of character introduction with the race announcer calling out the top 7 leaders of the race, which include our main character, Sweet JP, and Sasha Cherry Boy McLaren. This is the story of, not just the two of them, but, everyone else trying to make it into Redline, the ultimate racing.
Ivy, you're up.
Damn.
All right, go.
So the race at the beginning of the movie happens, and JP crashes, and he does not win any awards. But since the other two competitors, who were like second and third place or whatever, backed out, he gets a spot in Redline. And the reason they backed out is because the Redline race will be held, I think it was called Robo World, which is a planet of robots that are basically run by like robot Nazis, and they don't like the race, and they want to do anything to prevent the race, even kill all the contestants. So they all go to Robo World and just start getting their cars ready, and in the background there's like all this stuff going on and drama of the president of Robo World trying to thwart them.
Adam, you get the final minute.
So JP enters the race, and through shenanigans, in the Robo World's military, a bunch of people get shot at and killed and destroyed. They actually accidentally awaken something called a funky boy, an illegal biological weapon, and the male and female pro tags team up. They win the race, and they win a bunch of money. Also, Frisbee and their other mechanic guy killed a mob boss. We forgot to mention that he was working for the mob for a little bit, and then now he's not. And they win. And then there's also no resolution for the war thing. It just kind of happens.
Right.
That's the movie.
Yeah.
You have 10 seconds. Anything you want to say about the credits?
For PG-13, there was a lot of nudity.
All right, time's up. That's a great way to end it. For PG-13, there's a lot of nudity. That was amazing. You guys got it. Only thing I would add is there's a lot of fun racers that kind of have small backstories. Let me see if I can get their names right. You talked about Frisbee, Boy, Boss, Gory Rider.
Frisbee is JP's like mechanic fixer guy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Frisbee. Okay, and Boy, and Boss might be racers. Yes, I think they are.
Yeah.
Gory
they're
Rider.
The Boynes.
Yes.
That are hyperspace witch princesses.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yes.
You could tell who they were because their car was a mech with giant breasts.
Yep. All right. To Dork, we got Gory Rider, which I think is that cop.
Oh yeah.
I hated that guy.
Todoroki. Any guess who Todoroki is?
He was either one of the bounty hunter guys, or he was like
He was one of the like silly guys of like the two that were.
Yeah, they were like humans. I think they were from Earth.
Yeah.
All right. How about Mickey? Miki. Mickey. Who's actually named after the actress, the Japanese actress that voices her, but played by Sam Riegel. He's the voice of Donatello in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2003 series.
Nice. There's a lot of great VA actor representation in here.
Let's see. Laura Post is in Kill La Kill and Magical Girl. She plays Boss. Boy, it just says she does various Japanese anime video games. Okay. George C. Cole was in Cowboy Bebop, the movie, as Punch. Cutter Garcia was the voice of Torn in Jak and Daxter video game series. Tony Oliver plays Lancer from Fate's Stay. Doug Earlholtz is Lupin the Third and Bleach voice actors.
Oh, that's wild because
right.
The director for the movie did a bunch of Lupin movies.
Yeah.
I don't know any English VAs, so this is all news to me.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
there's a lot of cast connection here with Lupin the Third. A lot of actually Naruto like crossover sort of roles represented here.
Yeah.
Well, all right. Here,
the English VA pool of people in 2009 wasn't very large, so I imagine there's a lot of crossover.
Dio Brando in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is voiced by Patrick Seitz.
I can't believe you butchered that with.
Which one did I do?
Here.
I am the name, or
I am
JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
That's what it says on the wiki. It says
I
he's
know,
known
but
for.
you
But
did you
I
did
know what
say
we know what it says, but if you're a weeb, you should know what it is.
All right.
Yeah.
So Mike, I am gonna hold on to your weeb card. I'm gonna put it over here on the edge of the table. Okay.
Look, just because I don't know
I'm gonna
JJ's
keep it
blasphemous
here.
adventure
You can
doesn't
have
mean.
it. You could have it at the end of the show.
Ah,
no.
I'm
guys, my
staring at
favorite
my
anime is
JoJo
Coco
shelf and
Melon.
they're all crying.
Coco Melon. Oh no.
All right.
Wow.
But
All right. Well, I have a
That's a
lot
good
to
comment.
learn about anime
And to repent for.
and to repent for. So, you guys, let's get right into the meat and potatoes. Our first anime, this one is pretty off the hinges, but it's done, I would say, this is done in a very beautiful, energetic, adrenaline-filled way that I imagine that is a treat for the eyes, and anime fans like this film.
absolutely.
Okay. So, and this brought up the question in my mind, is there a B movie genre for anime, or is it like all like considered, well, I don't want to say it's all considered quality, but like is there like a trash fire of anime that like people are like, I watch it, I love hate watching this stuff, or is it all like good or great or amazing?
I
Yeah.
think that falls into the dumpster fire of the fan service,
Oh,
Yeah.
area. I.e. the one, the all basically any anime that includes like, giant breasted girls for the sake of just having them in
Right.
okay,
in the film. With Gaia axing comes to mind.
right,
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's like a trope, but not necessarily.
Hmm.
If you want like a genre, it's probably shonen, which is like
Yeah,
anime
yeah.
that's like targeted at like young boys, like age
Hmm.
like 18 to 12 to 18. So it's like you know, your uh I don't know, Naruto's, your Dragon Ball Z's, that sort of
Yeah.
stuff.
huh.
My Hero Academia.
It's a big one.
Now, I
Yeah.
always thought shonen did like the safe. It was like the safe road to take for anime. Like it wasn't too out there. It's kind of tropey. But they're not creating trash, but they're not creating anything award winning. Would I be wrong to say that, or is it really as trashy as we're saying?
It it depends. So shonen this is a whole thing. So shonen isn't actually specifically like a genre. It's how manga is printed. So
Uh-huh.
shonen manga are printed with kanji that are designed to be read by younger people. Like kanji is super hard to read. So things that are considered seinen or things that are for older people, josei, for like older women or older men, are literally written in a more complicated language. So, shonen can be things that are as trashy as like My Hero Academia, but it can also be as complex and depth and in depth as things like Free Rein is technically a shonen. Um, Stuff like Chainsaw Man is a shonen. Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood is a shonen. So there's a range that you can fall in between, but shonen is kind of like the catch-all. It's the Marvel Cinematic Universe for you know
Right.
or manga and anime.
Hmm. Hmm.
Okay. Now I feel educated. Now I know what to hate and what to love.
Well, well, well. You don't
Well-
necessarily have to. So so stuff like Berserk is kind of like falls in that in between. It definitely is very mature themes, but um, it depends. You're also like what we're also trying to talk about is Eastern storytelling and Eastern ways of doing things in a Western context. So that it's just not a one to one. You know what I mean? Like there's not like a there's not a
Yeah.
you can't. It's not like how in the United States we'd be like, oh yeah, like Dark Horse comics are usually like more mature
Right.
stories. You're gonna get like
Mm.
you're gonna get Spawn. You're gonna get Hellboy and things like that. Whereas like Marvel or like DC traditionally are like more kiddie friendly. It's not like that. There's not like an equivalence.
Right. Yeah. So is there anime in the same vein as like uh Tommy Wiseau's The Room or Velocipaster, where it's just like, oh my gosh, this is horrible, but I love it?
I think a good example would be a Riff Tracks movie, actually. I think it was called Attack of the Dinosaurs or something like that. But it's
Oh yeah.
like an anime movie, but it's also like dinosaur puppets, and it's just really bad and like low budget.
Yeah, so
My
that is the
interest has
one
been
I'm going to
piqued.
pick on Tubi.
Right. Or I would say something like Ghost Stories, even though it's like intentionally
Oh,
bad.
that's dubbing. That's
Well, yeah, but like they're taking something and they're, making it not what it originally was really supposed to be, and it's like a joke.
um. Yeah, I mean, there's this anime series called Life Lessons with Uramachi Onisan. The main character is a very nihilistic, depressed adult, but he works on a kids show. Uh, and so he talks about his depression on air, but everyone thinks it's a joke because he's like a kids presenter. So there's stuff like that.
That sounds peak.
Right.
It
Yeah, that
is.
sounds
Self-deprecating humor. That's how I cope.
Yeah. So I mean, there's literally, if you can think of it, there's an anime. I mean,
right.
JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is a
JoJo.
very, I mean, I can't believe we haven't talked about that yet. I mean, it's literally, 7 seasons following this one guy named Dio who is haunting this family. He's an immortal vampire and he's haunting this family. And every single person that he haunts he has like this blood vengeance against them. They all have the same initials, JoJo or JJ, and so it's literally like him through the decades, through space and time, plotting his revenge against this family for no reason.
Yeah, even if he has died, still his actions live on and torment them, and they're just destined to fight his remnants of evil.
Yeah. His
Right.
acolytes, continue the grudge.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
And it's
so, I
peak.
mean, what a way to bring that back around, because the voice of Dio
Yeah.
Brando throughout that series is the voice of our protagonist, Sweet JP, who
Mhm.
I might
JP.
add is rocking a very Jotaro-esque hairstyle. It's
Actually, it's Josuke.
Yeah, you tell him.
okay.
You tell him. You tell him.
We're all
I'm taking
guilty.
your weeb card back now.
Can I have mine?
Yeah, you
No.
got educated. You're fine.
I can't take out books from the library without mine, so
No, you need to
You
watch
can't get
Boku no
manga.
Pico and then you can get your weeb card back. Don't watch that. Don't do it. Don't watch that.
well, okay, so here's my thesis of my talk. This
Yes.
movie had a lot of dialogue that we've criticized in other movies, that we've completely, like, we've said, you know, this is crazy, this is off the rails, this movie is, you know, for the lack of a better word, this is dumb. But in this film, it feels thematic. It feels like it's part of an experience. While
Yeah.
in a live action, we'd say that's the dumbest choice you could make in a movie. And in anime, we're like, yep, this is the anime experience. Thank you for, may I have another? What do you think
Yeah, and
about
that's just the
that?
thing about animes. It can get away with it because it's so stylistic anyway that it doesn't feel out of place for something to be, dramatic or heavy-handed because the whole art style is the whole thing looks like if you left a Rocky JoJo picture out in the sun for a while. Like that's what the whole movie looks like anyway. So you can be as, you know, silly and big as you want and it just works.
Right,
Yeah.
because there's that part where I think two of the racers that like tag team together, they have to restore the power in the satellite after there's like a blackout, and then they start doing like karate moves in the air. And I'm like, we would never tolerate this in any other movie. But here, like, it feels like it's part of a culture.
Yeah.
Sure. And there's part of it also has to do with the medium that it's being presented in, right? Like it's because it is animated, you can get away with a lot more. Because like if you saw, like, if there was an MCU quality, CGI'd giant robot with, double D's, fighting Thanos, we'd be like, that's unacceptable.
Right.
Oh, speak for yourself.
Um, all right.
That's
No
Marvel
judgment here.
movie.
No judgment here. But yeah, so I also think that's why there's always going to be inherently a problem with between like translating anime into live action, because there's certain things that you just your brain suspends disbelief more when you're watching something
Yeah.
that's animated as opposed to watching something that's live action. And
Yeah.
like at the end of the movie when they're traveling at Mach 500 bajillion, they're breaking the speed barrier, but they like explode and get launched out of it and they're fine, right? Like their body isn't like shredded to bits.
Yeah,
Um,
it kind of ends with them just floating in like anti-gravity lasers.
Yeah.
Did they know
Mhm.
that was waiting for them? Because this movie would be very different if that wasn't waiting for them at the finish line.
mm, yeah.
Well, it's outer space, magical girl energy at the end. So that's that's a thing. I mean, this is all it's kind of all part of the whole power fantasy uh, aspect of anime, which as a VTuber myself, I know a few things about. um, again, the whole idea of just going over the top in actions, in speaking, in just every aspect of like expressing yourself like 200%. Like that's all baked into the the process of most anime. And that's why it works in anime and not in you know insert Marvel movie title here.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had no idea what I was getting into. So I didn't know it was like a wild sci-fi dystopia. I thought it was going to be Initial D. So
No,
the
no,
first
that's
thing,
fair.
Bold of you to
Yeah.
assume that Initial D isn't a dystopian, but okay.
yeah, I the minute you see like dogs talking to each other with aviator glasses. You're like, oh my gosh, is this a furry? What have I gotten into? And then it like switches to like these lanky people, these alien people, these tiny little micro people that vomit green liquid when they get excited, and you're like, what?
Yeah.
You know, thank God it's not a furry, but still, what is this?
I was quite fond of the little tiny guys in the jogging suits that would pester him and grab his legs.
That like
Oh, the
a paper
hawkers.
cut his eyes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's so funny.
I really like the opening of it because yeah, Mike, like you said, at first it seemed like a regular racing movie, and then oh my god, it's talking dogs and we're on an alien planet and stuff, you know. It starts out relatable and sort of, you know, it sort of takes the immersion into something that feels like, okay, you know that this is a racing movie because you're treated to the kind of sounds and sort of things that you would expect at, you know, a racing venue. But then there's this, you know, there's the outer space veneer that's cast over it.
Right. And you know, I was expecting like, oh, a Nissan Skyline versus a you know, a Ford oh my gosh. Just insert sports car. I lost my train of thought on cars. But, you
Camaro,
know, yeah, yes. Like
Grand Am.
any one of those sports cars, and the blue-haired protagonists, like, I'm doing this for my father. You know, that kind of a story.
Well, and a lot of it has to do with like, you know, the best example I can think of. I mean, we reviewed, what was it? Uh the Samurai. What was it? The Space Samurai. What was that movie with Jeff Goldblum?
Oh, Buckaroo Banzai.
Yeah.
Buckaroo
Yeah.
Banzai.
It feels
So
very
like,
Buckaroo
Yeah,
Banzai.
yes. It
so it's
was like if Buckaroo Banzai was good.
well, like
Yeah,
I would argue that like Buckaroo Banzai, if that was like an anime, you give it like 2 seasons, 24
Yeah.
episodes, that would be killer. Um,
that's what I was saying.
um,
Yeah.
but it because really it's about like, is everyone that's involved in the creative process, are they buying into it, right? Like it's what makes improv good, it's what makes the Rocky Horror Picture Show good, right? Like everybody that's involved is 100% in on the camp, and so it feels authentic. Um, and instead of like something else that's more like, oh haha, look at me, I'm so quirky, right, guys? Like,
Huh.
do you get it? You know what I mean? Um, where like Rocky Horror Picture Show, they don't acknowledge, Tim Curry doesn't acknowledge, that being Frankenfurter is odd or strange or
Right.
quasi mythical at all. He's like, no, this is a real person, and he's
Mhm.
inhabiting that space, and he is absurd. And that's kind of like what anime I think good anime does, is that it knows it's weird, it knows it's odd, but it doesn't acknowledge that, and everyone is all in on it.
Mhm. Mhm.
I always thought that it was like Japan playing a joke on us. They're like, we're gonna blow their minds, make them think this is our regular, and then like you go over to Japan and they're just watching like Looney Tunes and
I
Dexter's
mean,
Lab.
that's a very Western centric way of thinking, right? Like they're not making these movies for the West. Like these are movies
Right.
and shows that are made for them and their culture, and how it makes sense, what makes sense to them. And then, if it gets translated, it goes overseas, that's great. But like, they don't care that, yeah, that Chainsaw Man and Demon Slayer got nominated for an Academy Award, or like
Mhm.
they were in the running. They don't care about that. Like that's not what the intended audience is for.
Right.
So
And
and then I
also,
think.
like,
mm,
no, go ahead.
No, then I was gonna say, then you consequently, because there's that freedom, then they're creating stories for their own culture. You're gonna get stuff like Saint Young Men, where it's a buddy comedy where Buddha and Jesus Christ are roommates in Tokyo. When you're free from the shackles of reality, you get to play in this absurdist playground.
Well, I'm adding that to my watch list.
You should.
I have to say, this does feel like if Adult Swim got like permission to make an F-Zero movie.
Oh,
'Cause
for sure.
it's got like Adult Swim's like crazy over the top use of characters. Everything moves at the speed of crack, but like an F-Zero theme that
Mm.
like any Nintendo fan would say, "Yep, this is my F-Zero movie." Also, get the
This is what
kids
an
out of the
F-Zero
room.
movie should look like.
Yeah,
Like, Nintendo, take notes.
yeah.
This is what
Don't
we want after we're done with, Legend of Zelda, the movie.
I think they should scrap Legend of Zelda, give it to these guys. This is done by Madhouse, it looks like. Yeah, give it to Madhouse and just give them a blank check.
Yeah,
The,
fair
the
enough.
worst they could do is make anime fans happy.
Well, and I think the Adult Swim analogy is really great because I think a lot of the stuff that we got out from Adult Swim is informed directly by the success of Toonami, and like Toonami's um airing of stuff like Cowboy Bebop and things like
Mhm.
Right.
Gundam and things like that, and that opens up the you know the shows like the Space Ghost and Aqua Teen Hunger Force and stuff like that. Is directly as a result of um, the success of like Toonami. So I think, and then we're seeing that trend. Oh, excuse me. We're seeing that trend now. I think where animation is finally kind of starting to catch up in the West, um, to where anime was in like the '90s in terms of like
Mhm.
storytelling and like risks and stuff like that and creativity. Um, but yeah, so I think it's all interesting.
Yeah. Have you seen the Aqua Teen Hunger Force movie?
No.
That is like the perfect
Hmm.
embodiment of what we try to find on Tubi.
Hmm.
My boyfriend has watched some episodes of that while I'm in the room, and I think I physically had my brain melt out of my ear.
Mhm.
Oh, fair
Yeah, that
enough.
means you're watching it right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kicking in.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
So,
there's just like with anything that we watch, it's like, if you think about it too hard, it's not gonna make sense,
Mhm.
And the degree to which it happens, or that the film asks you to do that, it changes. Like, if it can come down to like little really simple things like, again, Redline, right? Like their turbo boost nitro thing. If they were like, "Oh yeah, I have a NOS canister in the back," you'd be like, "That doesn't make any sense." But they're like, "Oh, I got this special magical space crystal that makes me go 1,000,000,000 miles an hour." You're like, "Yeah, that makes sense," right? You buy into that.
yes.
Mhm.
Also, do you think the protagonist knows that every time he uses it, his car like turns into a spinning Beyblade of death?
Right. Right. Like you watch, Vin Diesel drop a car from space and you're like, that's dumb. But you see, JP, launch him and his girlfriend off a building, it's basically it's everything that Fast and the Furious wants to be, but because Fast and the Furious wants you so desperately to take it seriously,
Hmm.
it just is. It's not. If you watch it, like if you watch the Fast and the Furious franchise as an absurdist comedy, you're like, yeah, this is great. But
Yeah.
it doesn't present itself that way. It wants you to. It's desperate for you to take it
Yeah,
serious.
it's the nature of the power fantasy.
Yeah.
It's it if you try to tell that kind of a story with through a Western lens, it just looks stupid and silly and bad and dumb. But again, it's baked into the whole process of anime.
Yeah.
So part of it is like understanding the inside joke, which I think you either got it or you don't got it. Would I be
Well,
right in saying that?
Sure. Kind of. I guess I'll ask it to you this way, Mike. Did you enjoy like the first Matrix movie?
Oh, heck yes.
I,
And I understood it, which is someone told me I wouldn't, and I showed them.
I mean, The Matrix is basically every single anime isekai that's ever existed ever in the history of ever, right? Like it's The Matrix and the Wachowskis like so heavily based The Matrix on like anime and like those kind of Eastern storytelling. Um, but you bought into The Matrix, right? Because
Yeah.
it presents itself and it believes it believes its own universe, right? And then so I think I always am like, yeah, if you like The Matrix, you'll like anime. But then I think the
Right.
other side of that coin, because I think The Matrix presents itself as serious and it explains away um, the way that it gets the audience to suspend its disbelief is like all the crazy stuff happens in an artificial world. So you're like, oh, I can suspend my belief in that. But when things kind of get like iffy, and I think the other side of the coin is what I think the other Wachowski masterpiece is Speed Racer 2008. I think that is
Yes.
the closest and the best we're ever gonna get to a live action anime adaptation, and that movie is absurd. And it's what would happen if an anime was actually portrayed realistically in live action.
Hmm. Yeah. You bring up a good point. This this movie, gets away with a lot of like techno body horror that I think would look horrible in CGI. You have
Right.
these guys like getting into these ships and like these tubes like just jam into their face, into their back, and like make their arms turn into tentacles. And you're like, all right, this looks cool. They can make it look smooth. And then I tried to envision it like, what would like the greatest CGI studio do? And I'm like, it's still,
they would ruin it.
it
That,
looks like maybe the Assassin's Creed movie, if we're lucky.
Don't remind me.
That's also
Well,
on
I mean,
Tubi.
or it would be just so mind-bogglingly horrifying that it wouldn't be right. Like it would be Pan's Labyrinth. Like that's what it would be,
Yeah. And it
or
wouldn't be
It would be
Labyrinth
for,
so
or
absurd that it wouldn't even
yeah.
be effective or scary. It would just look stupid.
it would just
yeah.
go right into the realm of visceral, just uncomfortable, visceral disgust.
Right.
Right.
Well, so like the bit where at the end of the movie where the colonel guy kind of like becomes one with that giant tentacle monster thing,
Hmm.
that whole
Hmm.
sequence, you're like you watch that and they present it and they deliver that sequence as a joke. And it is funny, right?
Yeah. It doesn't even have
Right.
any closure to it.
Like
That's the,
he 100% sexually consummates his relationship with this tentacle monster thing. It de-atomizes him and it creates this new being. And you're like, haha, that's funny. But if you think about that, that's horrifying. Like that's like they took the plot of Alien and they made it a 30-second throwaway joke.
Yeah.
right. Now, I would know some people that wouldn't think it's a joke. They would say, "Wow, this movie is burying a like a side story, and they're not picking it up and like tell us more about these aliens you can mend with. Like, there's a whole like Transformers body horror side plot that you're just throwing away." You know?
Yeah.
Well, come on. I mean,
Funky
like,
boy.
yeah, yeah. I mean, just the possibilities that, we could spin out of Funky Boy. I mean, we could be here all night
Yeah,
with the side story threads that could come out of there. Um, but yeah, I
yeah,
mean, that's, anime is not there to like pull at every thread. It's to tell a story with, as much intensity as, as possible, you know, within a 16:9 frame, and with so many colors, and, it's like I'm trying to think of a way to sort of steer this the into a discussion about the aesthetic choice of the film, because a lot of it seems very, very hand drawn, even though it
Yeah.
isn't. It isn't, but it has this incredible attention to detail that,
uh
so often these days it just gets glossed over. It gets cut, just for the sake of using something you know, that'll do the job easier for less money. You know, any kind of AI editing comes to mind,
right.
but there's none of that in Redline.
Well, I read somewhere that they made like 100,000 animations. That's why it took so long to get this.
Yeah, like
Mm.
7 years.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't think it's like 100,000 frames. I think there's like a million frames in this movie of animation. I think like these are like separate animations for different scenes, which
Yeah,
is crazy.
yeah. So a lot of the Western audience doesn't believe that this could take a lot of time, but there is an inordinate amount of work that gets put into, and making animation. It's not just
Right.
guy draws a picture and, you know says some magic words and makes cartoon happen. No,
Yeah.
there is so much that has to be done in order to bring bring this to life.
Right. You know,
It's very meticulous.
the
Mm.
best I can do is like a flip book where these guys are in, stick figures. And even that gets me winded. So,
Hey, you should feel proud of any kind of creative
right.
endeavor.
And I think ultimately, fundamentally, the difference is how stories are presented and told. Like in the West, we rely heavily on like a 3-act structure, right?
Mhm.
Right.
You have your setup, you have your confrontation, you have your resolution, right? And it's very conflict driven. There's a main character that kind of like goes through it, and it's very like there's like a structure there, right? Um, Whereas like Eastern storytelling, it's the actual phrase is a Japanese word that I cannot pronounce, but the basic idea is it's a 4-act structure, which is totally different. There's still like an introduction, there is a development, but the big thing in the middle is it's called the twist, right? So it actually what happens is it totally flips the first two acts around, and it not that it disregards the first two acts, but it almost becomes like the twist kind of takes the themes that are talked about in the first two acts, flips it on its head, and then ends. So there's not like a
Yeah.
rising conflict with a nice, neat resolution. Instead, it's more as it's a way to explore the interaction between these first two acts, and then this new twist allows you to end in a different way. So like how it shows up in this movie, right? Like the first two acts, we get to see JP, we see these characters, we get the setup for this story of like, oh hey, like they're gonna race, and we get traditional story devices, and then we get into this middle, and then all of a sudden we're just in this intergalactic war thing, and there's giant space monsters, and there's fighting, and there's space battles, and it's totally absurd, totally off the rails, and totally not the story that was presented in the first act. But then we kind of end with, oh, was this a love story? And but there's no, I mean, as a discerning audience member, you can kind of like, you can be like, oh yeah, like JP and like Cherry, whatever, they're gonna fall in love. And we kind of like get hints of that throughout. But if I were to say, if we were to say before we started this podcast, hey, do you think that Redline is a romantic comedy? You'd be like, no. But the ending says yes, it is a romantic comedy, but it's not.
Right.
And yeah, so there's just like it's not a very structured three-act structure that we're used to in the West, where it's like this where it sticks on this rail. So and also that's why there are like these so many seemingly like threads in the show that you're just kind of like, oh, like I want to know more about this intergalactic police officer guy and how he's in love with his superior. And the only story development we get of them is like at the start of the race, he kisses the picture of her like before it starts. You're like, that's a cool story, I want to know that. But that's all we get, that's all you need to know. And I think that's why anime, I think, relies heavily on tropes, so you don't need to get like stories, right? Like you get that the robot people are bad because they have fascist ideology. They have
Mhm.
fascist tropes. So you don't need a backstory for them. You know that they're evil based on the way that they're dressed, based on the things that they say, and based on the things that they value. So you get a backstory for them without having to spend time telling their story. So I
Right.
think that's also a part of it. And so you get these big tropes that allow the audience to like understand what's happening without having to spend time on it.
Mhm.
Mm.
Exactly. Like you
And
don't
so,
need to know the entire history of Robo World to get, oh, okay, space fascists. Space fascists bad. Space fascists will blow up, racers. Racers are good guys. Got it.
mhm.
Mm.
And here's the funny thing is like, so Transformers: The Last Night has that same kind of chaos and that
Mm.
same kind of like, let's introduce things in a sentence and not have them pay off, or let's change the genre, let's make up the rules, let's break the rules, let's forget the rules. The same kind of energy, and that movie is trash. And I can say, because of all those things, this movie just like it just hurts to watch. Now, this movie, Redline, does a lot of the same things, and I'm like, yeah, this is part of the culture. This is like, this feels good. This is like, this is a privilege that they mentioned that there's a huge monster living in this jail cell in one sentence, and then I just have to accept that as belief. I can't say, oh, why didn't you bring it up at the beginning of the film? This feels abrupt. I don't say those things for this movie, though I say the same
Right.
things for, I always made fun of like the DC Extended Universe because they would just say a quick plot line and then it would just happen. Like they would give no setup to it. They're just like, yeah, yeah, you're an alien now. Deal with it. And
You're
and
an
so
alien now. Deal with it.
yeah, it's like it's frustrating
Mm,
because I want it to work in other movies.
mm,
Other movies have to like
Right.
take their time and do backstory and do that believability. But
mm,
anime, like it just gets away with this. And like I'm glad that
Mhm.
someone can get away with it.
mm.
Uh,
Well,
just none of the movies that I get hyped about.
yeah, and I mean, I think a lot of it is also like the social contract between the people going into the movie and like what the makers of the movie are presenting to them, right?
Yeah,
Like,
Mhm.
Right.
like if you like Scott Pilgrim versus the World is very much in the same vein as this, right?
yeah,
Mhm.
But you don't feel, you don't get into, you're like, oh, there's a secret vegan police force. That's crazy. That's cool. I want to explore that. But the movie's like, nope, we're moving on.
yeah,
Um,
exactly. Yeah,
but the social contract in that is like the audience is expecting it, and like they're still playing by the same rules. Um, it's not presenting, like it's not presenting, Schindler's List, right? Where it's supposed to be like
right.
we're doing serious things. We're a serious movie. Um, so I think a lot of it is like this kind of agreement.
All right. Hypothetically, this director did Schindler's List.
Wild. Oh,
How,
well, I
Okay.
don't think that would be culturally appropriate, but continue.
yeah, like, how much trouble would it be in versus how many awards would it win?
All the Nazis are just the people that run Robo World.
Yes. Yeah, they played that on the nose a little too well. Like
Well,
even the robot swastika
well,
is a little
what's
too close.
right? What, but what's crazy is I don't even necessarily think that they are in the wrong in this movie. Like the
Right.
planet very explicit was like, we do not want you here. Please do not come. We're asking you not to come here, and if you come here, we're gonna protect our sovereignty to do that. And everyone's like, nah. like like yes,
Nah,
they
that's
are
not cool.
bad. They're like, yes, 100%, they are bad, they are evil, and they are, yes, but they are also not in the wrong.
Yeah, to think of giving someone like with a rational concept and making them crazy, kind of like the villain in what was it, The Incredibles 2?
Mm.
Like she was right, but
Yeah. It would be like, Sweden, you have to have the Olympics. Then like, no, we don't want the Olympics. Well, too bad. Anyone who gets in the way of us starting the Olympics here will die.
Plus,
And no,
there's a
you can't.
lot of money riding
everyone
on
goes
this.
anyway.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, if they didn't have so many military secrets, Robot World, they'd be making hand over fist cash with the broadcasting of this popular show.
Right.
Right. I mean, I it's it's crazy. the the concept the concept of this show is funny, and I think that's part of the charm. Um, there's not there's no good guys or bad guys in this, right? It's just people you're rooting for and people that are going against, and like only like JP I think is like the only, I would say, like honestly good character. And same thing with Sonoshi. Um
Yeah.
but everyone else in the movie, and maybe the mechanic guy too, but everyone else is just kind of like generic, is like, in shades of gray. So there's not necessarily like good guys or bad guys. They're like, oh hey, we're just people and we're doing this thing, and I think it's interesting because of
Yeah.
that.
It's
Well,
like the
you have a
yeah.
little bit of a moral dilemma in Frisbee. You know, JP's friend
Hmm,
and mechanic,
that's a great
because
point.
he got caught up in race fixing. Well, actually, both he and JP uh, got caught up you know in betting manipulation and all of that. I mean, that's a very relatable thing in just like regular culture. It's not something that you need to really suspend your disbelief about. It's like, oh, these are some, they seem like good people, but they got caught up in a bad situation. They tried to make a buck, and now they're, on the hook with the mob.
Hmm.
You know, that's not anything, you have to, really, it's not a far reach to try to understand.
Hmm.
Like, you can start empathizing with these guys, like, or you could be like the old man, like the old man mechanic with the four arms, that JP brings in later to help, you know get the big engine that he needs. I mean, he says, You're still working with this guy? I don't trust him. Why do you trust him?" It's because they're friends, and they want to, they want to be redeemed.
Hmm.
Right.
And I, even like building off of that point, I think even just the plot presentation of like, oh hey, two friends, and they get caught up in gambling, and I think the movie presents in the first act, they're like, oh yeah, Frisbee is trying to take advantage of his friend. But by the end of the movie, the reveal is actually no, like Frisbee put his life on the line to support his friend's dream, and they failed. And in order for JP to save his friend, because he failed, um he like went to jail, and now they're trying to like it's Frisbee wasn't the one that was like, Frisbee, like, yes, he made maybe a bad decision to try and get money from the mafia, but he was doing it to help his friend. He wasn't trying to take advantage of him.
Right.
And like that, like
Huh.
even that, just like that, it's that twist I was talking about earlier, right? Like that's not like that's a unique story element to kind of like almost a very tropey thing, right? Like that could be in any sports movie, right? Like two
Hmm.
friends,
Exactly.
but it's that little twist, I think, that really sets this over the edge.
Yeah.
Well, one of the things that I said genius on was his friend Frisbee put a bomb in his car, so he doesn't, no love lost. He was ready to kill if he didn't fulfill the wishes and dreams of the mafia. But that ended up turning into their last nitro boost to get him
Right,
across the finish
Yes.
line,
right,
which,
like full
yeah,
circle.
Hmm.
the the movie, like, the crazy thing about this movie is, like, you think they've reached their highest speed, and then someone will come up with a super speed, and then be like, okay, that's the highest speed you can go. No, you forgot super duper speed. All right, well, now the bad guy needs to catch up, so he has to go super duper trooper speed. And they keep super saying their speed.
It's the nature
Super
of the
duper
power
trooper
fantasy.
pooper speed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like what you thought was like, okay, they're obviously going light speed. Nope. Sorry, light speed X2. It's
We're
like
going
it's
infinity plus one.
yeah, there's so much hyperbole in the speed of this movie.
That's so funny.
Mhm.
And because ultimately it's not like the story isn't about the race, right? Which is like crazy to say, right? Because the movie's literally named after the race, but that's not what the movie is about. The movie is about JP and his friendships and his relationships and the framework of Redline gives us the opportunity to explore those and and how they can be complicated, and
Yeah.
everything else is just kind of extra, right? Like the true story of this movie, isn't about JP winning. It's about him fulfilling his like long lost love. It's about found friends and found family reaching achieving their goals, and that's what the story is about.
Mhm.
And but then covered with insanity. and I think
Exactly.
that's and I think that's why it works, because I think a lot of other movies do the oh hey haha we're crazy, and there's no substance underneath it, and that's what
Yeah.
makes
Yeah.
this one work.
Yeah.
The crazy thing is JP has no idea that like his mechanic friend shot up the mafia. So he is winning thinking that they're going to like cut off his thumbs and
Right.
hang him from a high place, but he still wants to win. He's got no plan. I mean, he'll be pleasantly surprised. Like my mechanic never has done that for me, but
Mhm.
be like, "Oh, you won and you get to keep the trophy because there's no one hunting you anymore."
Ultimate resolution. Yeah. And that's what I think that's where, anime succeeds in this area of storytelling, because telling a it's not telling a love story, or it's not saying it's a heist movie. It's it's just telling a story about a person. It's
Yeah.
it doesn't try to like force itself into mm, how I lost my train of thought with this.
I get what you're
Um
trying to say. It could have been called JP the movie, but I don't think it'd be as fun.
It's
Uh,
like an exciting race-based slice of life thing.
Mm.
exactly.
true. It's like a theme
Exactly.
park.
That's where I was
Yeah.
that's where I
Yeah.
was going.
Right. And I don't think that the comparison to Fast and the Furious is a bad one. And I think why Redline I think it works, and the Fast and the Furious doesn't, even though the same things are happening in both, right? The ridiculousness of it all.
Mhm.
It's because at the core of it, like Vin Diesel's character is unlikable. He's like, you know what I mean? Like the characters and the storylines are unlikable, and they're annoying, and you don't buy in,
No.
right? And I
Yeah.
think that's
You
why it
don't
doesn't
want
work.
Vin Diesel's character to be redeemed.
Like you're like you just don't care, and I think that's a mistake, and I think that's why the first Fast and the Furious movie works so well, is because you buy into and you like all the characters, but then you're like, when they become a parody of themselves, you're like, I'm good.
Mm.
Mm,
Felt the
yeah.
same way about Leprechaun in Space.
Jason, or was it Jason in Space?
Yeah.
Jason, is
Also a
it Jason
movie.
X? It's
Yeah.
Jason. Is that
Yeah.
Jason X or whatever?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, is this a safe space to say that I think
No.
Fate of the Furious is one of my favorite action
Oh
movies?
no, it's not a safe space. I will judge you.
Wait, is
Is
that
that
the
the
one
one
that
with John
introduces
Cena?
John Cena?
Yeah, yeah.
I don't remember.
It's your favorite one. How do you
It's
not
the
know?
one. It's the one where Charlize Theron has like his baby or whatever. Like she's like has his kid kidnapped or something. I don't know.
That's crazy that you could say that, and I'll be like, oh yeah, that sounds like the
Sure.
Fast and the Furious.
You could literally say anything. I'd be like, yeah, that sounds great.
Yeah, you could say anything about that movie, like, oh, remember when The Rock suplexed that bank guard? Oh yeah, the finest racing movie action you'll find.
That needs to be a game we play. Just like, real or fake Fast and Furious plot points.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's just nuts.
Oh. If I may be so bold as to land the plane,
Yes.
I just wanted to say that the animation style
Mm,
really reminded me of the Kill Bill anime scenes in the part 1.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good
Yes.
shout. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the director would be the first to say that this is very Tarantino coded.
Yeah.
Oh, be careful.
Also, like, I have to give like the warning that like this movie doesn't believe girls serve much more of a purpose other than eye candy. And I'm sorry, female population. It's not gonna honor you. I'm sorry, Ivy.
Yeah, they can do cool things as long as they have tits that are massive.
I mean,
Uh,
the female character's nickname is Cherry Boy Hunter. What did you expect?
uh, and she's the tamest.
hmm
So, I always have that problem with anime is like, I want to get into the universe, but I don't want to get into someone's pervert fantasy. And you flip the coin with anime. Well, now you flip it with everything on Netflix, Hulu, HBO Max.
Yeah.
Uh, but with anime, like I think that's part of the trope, as you called it, fan service.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
Yeah.
none of those fans are girls. uh,
Well, you don't know that. There
uh,
might
yeah,
there might be some.
okay.
Might be some.
Uh, Neither here nor there. Adam, you said this movie was PG-13. I thought it was TVMA. I don't know, rated
Yeah,
I
R.
didn't even look at the rating.
that's what I thought as well.
If it
I
is
saw similar to you,
PG-13, Japan has a very different rating style, which we kind of already knew.
hmm
Um, yeah, maybe it is an R rating. I don't know. I don't know why I thought PG-13.
Yeah.
It just felt right. Which is funny because they like censor the F word in this, but they're like, "Yeah, we'll show this
Oh
naked
yeah.
woman."
Yeah, but then like I don't know, there's definitely Western phrases when it comes to like pervert like dialogue in this movie. You're like, Japan calls that thing that too? Okay. Thank you for clarifying. Uh,
Well, I mean, uh, pervy intentions, transcend country boundaries.
yeah.
So,
There has to be a guy in every studio that has the math. They're like, if women dress like this, it means 5,000 extra dollars. So she's going to watch the TV sans clothes. All right.
Sentence
Is
close.
everyone okay with that? All right.
she
Well,
had bottoms on.
she did have bottoms on. According to IMDb, it has an M rating in Australia, a TV 16 rating in Germany, Russia 16 plus, Singapore NC 16, South Korea 15, UK 15, United States TV 14.
Wow.
Hmm.
Wow.
I
That's
don't know what to
IMDb
say.
though. Yeah.
This nation's losing its soul. No.
Well, it's animated, right? It's not.
Yeah.
It's not real boobs. It's fine.
Right.
Well, speaking of things that people like to see, let's go to the part of our
Yeah.
show where we talk about our favorite part of this movie. What now? Usually we have to
Hmm.
be sarcastic and stretch, but it seems like this movie did a lot of things right. So I want to hear their absolute no notes perfect thing that they nailed. And I guarantee whoever goes first is going to take mine. So let's just get it out, get it away.
The naked women.
The
Okay,
boobs.
just to set the record straight, there was one naked woman in the entire show. I mean, everything else is just
Yeah.
Everyone else
basically,
wanted to.
stylized,
Yeah. It's just cleavage.
sexuality.
Yeah.
Because, the one racing pair is from, the planet Supergrass that's ruled by like a magical fairy princess. That's
can't
not hyperbole, that's actually what's in the movie.
you can't tell me that robot wasn't naked that they were piloting. Was a naked woman. That was a naked woman.
Well, aren't all machines naked if they aren't wearing clothes?
Let's just say I'm glad it's not a furry movie. I'm glad the dogs at
Hey.
the beginning had nothing to do with this.
Hey, we don't yuck people's yums on this show.
Actually, that's kind of our niche.
Uh,
But anyways, Ivy, will you grace us
Yeah.
with the thing that you like the most about this movie?
oh, I did enjoy this movie. I didn't I'm not a deep cut anime watcher all the time. I don't watch dozens and dozens of anime. So I didn't know how I would feel about it, but I really liked it. Um, I liked the art style. I tend to like art styles that
Hmm.
are kind of weird, other people might call ugly. I don't like you know, the standard like My Hero type of art style. I like JoJo's. So I thought it was really cool. And as I said earlier, I really like the little things that were trying to get him to buy stuff and jumping around. I wish they were in 90% more of the movie.
Hmm.
So like I can't really pinpoint like one thing that I thought was like that was really good because the whole thing was like, a good thing for me. So
Yep, you
Nice.
stole mine. All right. Now, Adam, what did you really like about this?
Man, two things real quick. I think first, I love when movies do the whole anachronistic thing. The like he's very clearly a 1940s greaser driving, a Trans Am in space. I love that. I think that's really funny. Right
yeah,
down to the like the switchblade comb. Love that.
Mm.
And once again, I also love that this was made by probably my favorite anime studio, Madhouse. They and I and that's why I don't think that this is our first anime. I don't know if everyone was here for it, but I thought we reviewed Paprika.
Oh, that was before we
yeah,
were
that was on
hunting.
our
Yeah.
yeah that was
Yeah,
on our
that was
secondary show.
that was like technically not a to be decided show,
Fair.
even
That was
though the
before
movie was
movies ruined
featured on
us.
Tubi. Yeah, correct.
Um, but yeah, so continuing the tradition of Madhouse, animating and working on this movie, you'll know them from things like Perfect Blue and Paprika, like I said, Vampire Hunter
Hmm.
D, Ninja
Hmm.
Scroll, my favorite anime of all time, Black Lagoon, um, Overlord, Free Ren, the who's of movies, and shows. Madhouse is doing it. So shouts out to them. They killed it as usual. Hunter x Hunter, One Punch Man.
Nice.
Yes.
All right. That's great. And Vin,
Yeah.
did you like
I'm-
your choice?
I didn't like my choice. I loved my choice.
Yeah, it was
I
fantastic.
feel like this was something that we so desperately needed, especially after Ratpocalypse. No offense, Ivy. Which
Ivy followed the assignment.
she did.
Yes.
Yes, she did. By finding a movie that's so bad that we could actually make a real April Fool's joke out of it, which if you're keeping score at home, yes, that was a real movie. It wasn't one of our, April Fool's fever dreams that we've cooked up.
Yeah.
That was real.
Gotcha.
But for me, my favorite thing about this movie was the music. For me,
Yes.
yes, story, movies have to have like great writing, great visual aesthetics, but that doesn't get driven without, a great soundtrack. And this is all just like four on the floor, just like industrial themed, music. I want to say that it's full of needle drops, except that there are no popular songs that are
Yeah.
in this. It's just,
It's just its own needle drops.
exactly. It's its own, the title track, Redline, is kind of the leitmotif that, goes through the entire film. It's that thing that you kind of hear in the background, whether it's, you're in the thick of the race or, you're on a date with JP and Sanashi. It just ties everything together so well. And I've had the Redline soundtrack actually in my music library before we watched this. So
Yeah. Well, there was times during this movie where like, oh, is that Blink 182? No, that's not Blink 182.
like it's very reminiscent of KMFDM.
Oh yes, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was getting like Jet Set Radio.
Yeah,
Guess another
nice.
video game.
Nice.
Another great reference.
And that's what we do on this podcast.
Mm-hmm.
We refer.
Yeah.
So, I'll go with, I think the one thing this movie can rest on, the thing that keeps it in the conversation as like someone's top 100 movies before you die, is like the adherence to the theme and the animation fluidity. Like without it, this would just be another weird movie. But because of it,
Right.
I think we can all say this has been at least an experience.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. For sure.
Well, there you have it. Finally, we're going to talk about To Be the Greatest, To Be Enjoyed, To Be Tolerated, / To Be Experienced, or To Be Avoided. If I'm reading the room, I'm feeling a lot of avoids are going to be on this one. Yeah. All right. I'll go first. I'm going to say this is something you definitely have to experience this is to be experienced as an animation lover, as someone who loves adrenaline soaked movies. Definitely experience. I'm going to say that the content probably will ban me from wanting to watch it again. I mean, this is the responsible dad talking. But
Show it to
I'm
your kids; they'll
glad.
be fine.
Yeah, right. Let me just explain a
Oh.
few things before I hit play, kids. Yeah,
Well,
this
kids have a bedtime for a reason.
is true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, this is definitely a midnight movie. Definitely don't play it while they're watching YouTube.
No.
Yeah, my 1-year-old has questions now. But definitely Tubi experience. If you told me this was on your 100 movies to watch before you die, I wouldn't disagree. I'd say, yep, this is definitely a movie you should watch.
Yeah.
All right. Adam, where do you place this movie?
As someone that has seen this movie, I guess now for maybe the second or third time, yeah, I love this movie. It's really great. I loved it when it came out. Loved it now. Um, yeah, go watch it.
There you have it. I'm gonna say, well, now I have to know: is this Tubi's greatest? Is this the best Tubi can get, or is this just to be enjoyed?
I do think it's a little unfair because I think it's just the best overall movie that we've watched. Like it's like like everything that we've watched in some way, shape, or form has a deficiency, whether it's in its budgeting, its talent and casting. So I think it's a little unfair. um But yeah, I mean it's the best. I mean it took them like what 5 or 7 years to make this movie. Yeah, of course
Yeah.
it's yeah, of course.
So just
Well,
like
you
that,
can
you're
take 5 or
abandoning.
7 years. You can take 5 or 7 years to make a terrible movie.
That is
Just
fair. That is
just
fair.
putting that out there.
We're taking
Are you
"Don't
sure it
Mess with
wasn't?
Grandma" and we're dethroning it. Is that what you're saying? Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes, but like I at least for me, I've always felt like the spirit of the show was to find like diamonds in the rough. Whereas like this movie, I feel like is a diamond, but it's a diamond in the rough more so the fact that people just don't know about it, or like the genre is like a little like more out there for people to get into, as opposed to like don't mess with grandma or anything else that Buckaroo Banzai or whatever. Yeah, I feel like they're different movies, different categories. So I mean, I would say yes, it's the best thing that we've watched, but I also don't think that it's fair to say that. You know what I mean?
Right. It's like
Gotcha.
a college night MMA versus Conor McGregor.
Right. It's like yes, like Shrek of course is the best movie, but like not when you compare it to like 2001: A Space Odyssey. Like that's not fair.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah,
2001: A Space Odyssey.
Right.
Whoa.
that's it's kind of a
Reference.
false equivalency in that point of view.
Uh, so
What's that? Yeah, what's that Kubrick guy up to anyways these days?
what? Shrek? Oh. Oh.
Yeah, who knows?
Ivy. Wait. Did you already go? No, you haven't gone
No.
yet.
No, she did.
Okay.
I would give it an enjoyed. I
Mhm.
think it wasn't the greatest as far as the grand scheme of things for me personally, but as we said, it is the greatest that we have had on the show. Because I feel like every time Vin picks something, he's trying to like have a palate cleanser from whatever I just did to us and pick something that might actually be
Hey,
quality.
that's
No,
not
it's
always
true.
true.
I feel like 99% of the time it is. But typically, I don't always really go for it. But I think you actually did it this time. Like, I actually enjoyed this. So, good
Mm.
job.
Thank you. Thank
Right,
you. I
right.
appreciate that.
And of course, Vin, did you
Yeah,
like what you saw?
absolutely. 110%. I mean, to sort of put my recommendation, to sort of frame it in the way that Adam was doing earlier, as far as if you're an enjoyer of anime, this is
Yeah.
definitely something that's to be experienced, to be enjoyed. It's not it hasn't always been on the cusp, on like the on the forefront of what's what's popular in anime. This is definitely sort of it's something that could get lost in the sort of the wide deluge of other anime films. We're you know I wanted to bring some attention to something that is definitely deserving of a watch. um
Mm.
yeah, I mean, and as far as you know my take as an animation lover in general, this is like bordering on to be the greatest, because the way that the visual storytelling works with the audience, it's just completely engaging.
Yeah.
Like this movie, just it hooks you in. It almost literally puts you in the driver's seat with JP and with Sanashi.
Yeah.
Right.
Every step of the way in this story. So yeah, that is my take on Redline.
Uh, Great. Well, there you have it, folks. We've got a winner. Well, I mean, they're all winners if we agree. And it seems like we agreed on our last episode about Rat Apocalypse.
Yeah.
Um,
Still can't believe it's a real movie.
Spoilers. What if they're listening out of order?
all right.
Oh.
So, I want to talk about
Oh.
my movie,
Oh.
Uh-oh.
which also could be a winner. The only
Oh.
reason I'm picking this movie because I saw one trailer in theaters for it,
Oh.
and then it
Oh.
it disappeared into obscurity, and then it just popped up on Tubi for absolutely no reason.
I've been
Oh.
there.
I'm
This is
intrigued.
a 2025
Oh.
animated film called Night of the Zoopocalypse, written by Clive Barker of Hellraiser fame.
What?
Starring
Whoa.
David Harbour and
Wow.
Gabby
Whoa.
Cosmidius.
I am intrigued.
You had me at
So-
Clive Barker.
So yeah, this movie is PG. So nudity enthusiasts, please
No
go home.
boobies.
Yes.
You mean Zubies?
Ew,
Yeah,
boobies.
I mean the
There it
animals.
is. There it is.
Yeah.
That's it.
So I'm excited to see this because this movie feels like a secret, like a buried, like we don't want you to know this exists, and like Tubi is like putting their life on the line, putting it out there. So watch it along. Night of the Zoopocalypse.
It's pretty well
Uh,
reviewed.
Yeah, I'm gonna say this might not be a dumpster, a flaming dumpster, And I don't know
dumpster
how I
fire?
feel about that, but we'll see.
Wow. I'm excited.
Yeah.
All right. Well, until then, I've been Mike.
Adam,
And Ivy.
And
Thank
Vin.
you. Oh, now
Oh.
thank you. Sorry, Vin, I cut you off.
Oh, you try to shoehorn me out of this.
Yeah. This is my weird way of saying you're fired.
You
But-
picked a good one. We can't have
Damn
that.
it.
yes. You were warned. Um,
that
oh,
broke me. It's
well,
so
thank
dumb.
you. Thank you for listening to us. And, until next time, we love you.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening. Bye-bye.